afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Hanbury Manor and to the wedding ceremony of Rebecca and David. Michael, you have escorted Rebecca here today for her wedding. Do you now give her hand in marriage to David?
I do.
Thank you. And Lisa, would you mind taking the bride's flowers, please? And then, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please be seated? Today, Rebecca and David will declare their love and commitment to one another and publicly affirm their marriage in your presence, which they will give you all an opportunity to offer to both of them your support and encouragement as they take their first steps into married life. David and Rebecca, the purpose of marriage is that you may always love, care for and support each other throughout the joys and sorrows of life. Today you will exchange vows of marriage which will unite you as husband and wife. These vows are a promise of lifelong commitment, giving your family and friends the opportunity to meet together in celebration of your happiness and to impart their own messages of love and support for both of you. And ladies and gentlemen, this place in which we are now at has been duly sanctioned according to law for the celebration of marriage. And we're all here to witness the joining in matrimony of David Eric Scarratz and Rebecca Louise Powis. If any person present knows of any lawful impediment to this marriage, they must declare it now. David and Rebecca, before you are joined in matrimony, it is my duty to remind you both of the solemn and binding character of the vows you're about to make. The law of this country allows two people to make the lifelong commitment of marriage. This legally binding union is to be entered into voluntarily and to the exclusion of all others. I am now going to ask each of you in turn to declare you do not know of any lawful reason why you should not be married to each other. So David, can I ask you to repeat these words, please? I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly declare
that I know not.
that I know not
of any lawful impediment.
of any lawful impediment.
Why I, David Eric Scarratz.
Why I, David Eric Scarratz,
may not be joined in matrimony.
may not be joined in matrimony
To Rebecca Louise Powis.
to Rebecca Louise Powis.
And now Rebecca, same words. I do solemnly declare.
I do solemnly declare
that I know not.
that I know not
of any lawful impediment.
of any lawful impediment.
Why I, Rebecca Louise Powis.
Why I, Rebecca Louise Powis,
may not be joined in matrimony.
may not be joined in matrimony
To David Eric Scarratz.
to David Eric Scarratz.
Now can I ask you both to turn and face each other? Take each other by both hands as you make your formal contract of marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment under English law where the next few words that Rebecca and David say to each other will actually transform them into husband and wife. And because of the significance of these words and this moment, would you mind standing? David, can I ask you to repeat these words and you're actually saying them to Rebecca? I call upon these persons.
I call upon these persons
Here present today.
here present today
To witness.
to witness
That I, David Eric Scarratz.
that I, David Eric Scarratz,
Do take thee.
to take thee,
Rebecca Louise Powis.
Rebecca Louise Powis,
To be my lawful wedded wife.
to be my lawful wedded wife.
And Rebecca, same words to David, please. I call upon these persons.
I call upon these persons
here present today
here present today
to witness
to witness
that I, Rebecca Louise Powis,
that I, Rebecca Louise Powis,
do take thee, David Eric Scarrett,
David Eric Scarrett,
to be my lawful wedded husband.
to be my lawful wedded husband.
Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to continue the ceremony of the reading, and Ben is going to step forward with that reading for us. Where are you, Ben? There you are. If I get a here, perhaps if you just stand there.
On your wedding day. Today is a day you'll always remember, the greatest in anyone's life. You'll start the day just two people in love, and you'll end as husband and wife. It's a brand new beginning, the start of a journey, with moments to cherish and treasure. And although there'll be times we both disagree, they will surely be outweighed by the pleasure. You'll have had many words of advice in the past, when the secrets of marriage were spoken, but you know the answers are hidden inside, where the bond of true love lies unbroken. So be happy forever as lovers and friends. It's the dawn of a new life for you, as you stand there together with love in your eyes from the moment you whisper I do. And with luck all your hopes and your dreams can be real. May success find its way to your hearts. Tomorrow can bring you the greatest of joys, but today's the day it starts.
Ben, those words were lovely. Thank you, Ben. That was lovely. Marriage means making a commitment to each other for the rest of your lives, to developing and maintaining affection, cooperation, friendship, and mutual respect. It calls for trust, understanding, and encouragement, the ability to listen, and a willingness to accept each other exactly as you are. Marriage needs honesty, patience, and of course humour. It requires both closeness and distance, the closeness of a couple who will be growing together year by year, and yet sufficient distance to allow each one of you to remain an individual. Partners in such a marriage will be loving, caring, but above all they'll be the very best of friends. David and Rebecca, you have both made formal vows of marriage to each other in the presence of your guests. I ask you now to confirm your commitment to each other and to married life together. David, do you promise to be loving, loyal, and faithful to Rebecca, to rejoice with her in good times, to comfort her in times of sorrow, and to be true to her all the days of your life?
Do.
Rebecca, do you promise to be loving, loyal, and faithful to David, to rejoice with him in good times, to comfort him in times of sorrow, and to be true to him all the days of your life?
I do.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the exchange of rings. The exchange of rings is the ancient and traditional way of sealing the vows that have just been made. A wedding ring is an unbroken circle. It symbolises devotion and everlasting love, and is the outward sign of the lifelong promises that you have both just made to each other. So Matthew, could I ask you to step up with the rings, please? And if you could pass Rebecca's ring to David. If you could place that ring on the third finger of Rebecca's left hand. That's it, all the way on. Remain holding her hand as you repeat these words. Rebecca, I give you this ring.
Rebecca, I give you this ring
As a symbol of our love.
as a symbol of our love.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I have, I share with you.
All that I have, I share with you.
I promise to love, cherish, and respect you.
I promise to love, cherish, and respect you
In times of joy and in times of sorrow.
in times of joy and in sorrow.
From this day forward,
From this day forward,
for as long as we both shall live.
for as long as we both shall live.
Excuse me, Matthew, if you could hand David's ring to Rebecca. Thank you very much, Judy. If you could place that ring on the third finger. Stop him shaking, actually. And so very well. Remain holding David's hand as you repeat these words. David, I give you this ring
David, I give you this ring
as a symbol of our love.
as a symbol of our love.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I am, I give to you.
All that I have, I share with you.
All that I have, I share with you.
I promise to love, cherish and respect you.
I promise to love, cherish and respect you.
In times of joy and in times of sorrow.
In times of joy and in times of sorrow.
From this day forward,
From this day forward.
for as long as we both shall live.
For as long as we both shall live.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have another reading, and Jill is going to step up with that reading forward.
A wedding message by Amanda Bradley. Rebecca and David, to love is to share life together, to build special plans just for two, to work side by side and then smile with pride, as one by one dreams all come true. To love is to help and encourage, with smiles and sincere words of praise, to take time to share, to listen and care, in tender, affectionate ways. To love is to have somebody special, on whom you can always depend, to be there through the years, sharing laughter and tears, as partner, a lover, a friend. To love is to make special memories of moments you love to recall. Of all the good things that married life brings, love is the greatest of all.
Thank you, Jill. That was lovely. They're lovely words. Ladies and gentlemen, just before we move on to the pronouncement, I'd just like to say to you both, let these rings be a visible reminder of the promises you have both made to each other as you enter into the days of your marriage together. David and Rebecca, you have both made all those declarations prescribed by law, and you have made solemn and binding marriage vows with each other in the presence of your guests, your witnesses, and before the registrar of marriages. You've sealed those vows with the giving and receiving of rings. And in addition to all of that, you've given to each other promises of lifelong love and commitment. Marriage is the joining of two lives. It thrives on the love you give each other and never grows old. May you always confide in each other, laugh with each other, and enjoy life together, and share moments of quiet and peace when the day is done. May you be blessed with a lifetime of happiness and a home of warmth and understanding. David and Rebecca, it's now my privilege to pronounce your husband and wife. I think we discussed earlier what duty we have at this moment in time.
That's the bride.
Kiss your wife. You go that way. And I'll try and get myself out of the way.
Squeeze yourself in there.
Are you in? That's good. Don't have the accident. Right. Yeah, you have to ask me to sign. You just give signature
And then swap the pen over. Swap the pen. That's it. Cool. Lovely. A little kiss. Nice and close in. As close as you can get in
Ladies and gentlemen, do any of you want to come and take some pictures? Now's your chance. Come on. Come and embarrass some of these people.
Shall I stand up there with
That's for me to know and you to find out. I don't want to find out. Let me tell me later. Just go.
Did it go in your head? Did it? You've got them off.
I know. Right, let's have you on your feet then. That's all. I'll only sit down you get now, I'm afraid. Right, you managed. Now I need you to go that side. Dave, I need you back this side, facing everyone. Leave your cameras there for a minute. So let Rebecca go Well, ladies and gentlemen, that now concludes the formal part of proceedings here today. But as registrar, I have one final job to do, and that's, of course, to hand over the proof. You'll be pleased to know we call it the evidence. Now, what you may not know, though, is, as a bachelor all this time, you won't know about this very important rule. And that rule states that this evidence always falls into the hands of the bride. Like everything else in your life. You'll soon get used to that, don't you? So, Mrs. Scarrett's. Well, this is yours with many congratulations. Keep it safe. I think you all admired this lovely, lovely gown, but I bet you don't have a pocket, do you? No, I didn't think you did. So who do you trust not to lose this very important evidence?
I did consider my dad, but...
Right. Not going to give it to you then, Dave. Is that the right decision? Is that right? Would he lose it? I think he probably
He's been trained.
Oh, right. Well, it just leaves me on behalf of Joe and myself to wish you all a lovely day. I hope you enjoy all the celebrations, and I'm sure you'd like to join with me in wishing these two a very long and very, very happy married life. I guess you could all do with a drink after all that.
yes.
I thought you might. So, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you all please to stand? And please welcome Mr. and Mrs. David Skelton. That was lovely.
Right, my first duty is obviously to welcome you all here today. I can't tell you how nice it is to see you all together. Two families joining into one, and I don't think well, Jane and I are so happy that you've all been able to make it here today. Thank you. I must say that a few special mentions, because some people have come here, you know, for quite a way. Audrey and John over there, they've come down from Scotland for today, so it really is nice to see them. And also my sister who's over there, they came back, they shortened their holiday just to make certain they were here for the day, so thank you very much. I should say a special thanks to Jill. She made a fantastic cake there, so thank you very much, and I'm sure the best man will have something to say about that, won't he? Just a few mentions of people that aren't with us any longer. It's Bex's grandparents, Eunice and Derek, Uncle Chris, and my parents as well, and I'll tell you a little bit about my mother and her relationship with Becky, and Auntie Margaret, who was very, very special. In fact, she lived just across the road to where Bex lives now, so they would have all loved to have been here today. I can't tell you what a lucky man I am. Now, I've got, oh I will. I have got 4 lovely, lovely daughters, and 3 of them are here today. Lisa, Tracy, Bex and Zoe. Zoe lives in America, and she's my youngest daughter, and she unfortunately couldn't come over here today, but I know that her thoughts are for Bex on her special day. Also, I'd like to mention that one of Bex's friend Toby, who I will mention in a little while, unfortunately he couldn't make it here today, and I know Bex was very upset that unfortunately he couldn't make it, but I know his phone, and I'm sure they will talk later on today. Today is very, very special to Jane and me, and I cannot tell you how pleased I am to welcome to the family. It was lovely that he joined. Just Bex, Becky, Boo Boo, I quite often call her.
Or Penis.
Yeah, well, I'm coming on to that. Yeah, I'm coming to that bit. I think all those names, the only time it's Rebecca is when Jane or I am very cross with her. So we normally call her Rebecca, obviously. First met Jane, my beautiful, beautiful wife, and Bex in St Albans. And they were standing in a bar when I walked in with a friend of mine, and I was absolutely gobsmacked at the beautiful daughter and mother. Yeah.
The wrong way round.
What I can say, well, no, you're paid today.
Right answer.
You're right. They were standing in the bar and I came in, and they just looked so lovely together. And obviously, a few years later, I married Jane, and obviously I got to know their family, who are all here today. Bex was obviously struck by me because her first warning to her mother was, for goodness sake, don't be on your own with him. He could be an axe murderer. So that really gave me encouragement, I have to say. But Lisa, the other daughter, she obviously gave me confidence. Her very words were, "He's better than the last one." As I said, I met Bex when she was 19, and I've obviously pumped Jane for some background. Her first school was Beechwood Junior, moved on to, I must get it proud, Chorley Girls High School, where she met a lifelong friend, Becky Jones. Believe it or not, they called her Little Bex to begin with, even though that she was larger. I think it's probably scared by that. But she picked up this really peculiar name of Penis because it was someone else who was spelling her surname and misspelt it, and it just seemed to carry on from there, and it stuck. So if you hear Pevs or Pevy or anything like that, you know it refers to Bex. They really became friends at school, and they were always covering up for each other because, to say that perhaps they weren't the ideal people at school, the students. Always in trouble. No difference now, I may add. One of the parents' evening, Mrs. Hutchins, she was Scottish, and poor Jane went along to the parents' evening, and she said, if I do it in the right accent, "There's hay as Kate's, I see on something."
To be fair, nobody liked that teacher, not even me.
Well,
We were just high on life, weren't we, Pennies?
yeah, indeed. So, and left school, a little bit of college, and then she left home roughly about the same time, and she went to St Albans and got a job at Westminster Lodge, and that's where she met her very dear friend Toby. Toby and Bex lived together for 10 years, and when I say lived together, don't get the wrong impression, they were just friends. Toby is quite unique. He's how can I put this? He's very straight, and they just got on so well together, and loads of people thought they were actually going out, but they weren't. They were just friends. One day, Jane and I were round a flat that they were living in, and Toby was sitting there talking to us, and we were waiting for Bex to come in. And we heard the key go into the door, and he jumped up and rushed to do the washing up. I've never seen someone leave the settee that quick. Well, all I can say, Dave,
Good luck.
Anyway, moved on from Westminster Lodge, joined the Crown Prosecution Service, who Bex is still working there today. She became a paralegal and did so well there. The recommendation was, well, why don't you go on and do a degree and in law? And good old, she took the challenge, and can't tell you how proud we are.
That's what you get for going over your minute.
Yeah. She became the highest performing student in her final year. She got first class. If I can tell you, that's been the hardest 4 years of Jane and I cannot tell you how hard she worked and the little traumas perhaps we had along. But it doesn't matter, she well deserved, because the amount of effort that she put into her studies and learning, I just have never known anyone to work that hard. And she said, I only want a first class honours, and my God, she got it. Moving on to her eating habits.
Oh no.
I'm convinced that she's got worms. I've never known anyone eat so much in my entire life. She'll be full up, and she says, I'm absolutely full up. 10 minutes later, she's out there in the fridge looking for more food. And that goes on for the entire evening. It's just phenomenal, and well, you can see her figure never seems to alter. So the only answer is worms. Bex is a clone of her mother. And I have to be very technical here. Despite what they say, they think so similar, and they're just, to me, just like, well, they are clones, it's the only word. And I keep saying today, look at the mother, because my God, that is what Bex will be like. And you couldn't have a better. I thought it would be only fair to mention Bex and her advice she gives to me from the back seat of when I'm driving. Just like her mother, because if they're both in the back seat, it's absolutely hell to go anyway. Too fast, too slow. Watch that bump. Don't watch that bump. It was just, we drove here earlier in the week, and it was like a continuous monologue. Honestly, any journey with them is like a nightmare. we really wanted to buy her one of those Churchill nodding donkeys, dogs in the back of her car, but it'd always be going well. Because in my view, her driving is very good. Met Dave in 2012. Seen him in court or around the office, because obviously they work in a similar profession. What I liked about Dave is he came round, and before he proposed to Bex, actually asked my permission for my daughter's hand. And I couldn't believe I'm in luck. Jane and I were celebrating for weeks. But anyway, the deed happened in Mexico, 2014. Dave is very romantic. Thought it'd be absolutely brilliant to take Bex down to the beach and propose on the beautiful sandy beach. Bex, perhaps it's not the easiest to persuade to go out on a very windy day to the beach for a romantic moment, because Bex had no idea. And I can honestly say, for the first time in her life, she was absolutely dumbstruck. And said yes, why we're here today. Now, I'm very reluctant to touch this subject, but I thought I'd just talk about Boris, her cat. Bex is, what can I say? Bex loves the cat as much as Dave. And the description of this cat is a cat with attitude. I've never known a cat like it. It purrs once it claws you. And when it bites, which isn't very often now, it's got that nasty look in its eye, you know, and a tiny smile from one side. It's quite amazing. And one day, I actually caught the cat on the sofa, sharpening its claws with a nail file. And Dave has got to live that the most important thing to make certain is that Boris is fed and watered. And when we left the house today, I've never seen so much food being placed for it. We might have been away for a month and there was so much food there. Bex has a rule, so has Jane. And everything I do is covered by a rule. Most of them I cannot remember. So what Jane and I decided to do, we'd write them down to make Dave's life easier. Because you have to always go by rules. And today, I brought these next. I'm on chapter 4008 because it's in extremely small print.
Isn't that chapter 8?
In summary, do what Bex says and not what she does. And remember, even when you do what Bex says, you're still wrong. Dave is quite incredible because at rounders he actually cheats. He's so afraid of Bex. Even when she's out, he said no, she's in.
That's wrong. He even drops the ball when he's actually caught it to not catch her out.
To get someone out, you have to stump a post. Dave catches it well before she gets to it and then drops it.
Yeah. That's love. He does it for love. It's not
fear. It's pure fear. You can see it in his eyes. He catches it like that and then he's shaking like that when Bex drops it. Dave, one of his skills is he's been trained beyond belief to drive cars at very high speed. And I thought, my daughter is in safe hands whenever he's driving. Unfortunately, there's a lamppost outside their house. I have to be honest with you, I was shocked when he reversed into it. But despite that, I cannot say that Jane and I, we cannot be happier to have Dave in our family. He is such a nice guy. He really is one of us all. He has to be. He is now officially in the family, and I would like for everyone to raise their glasses and wish the bride and groom, or husband and wife, all the best happiness in the future.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
And welcome to our family, Dave.
Yeah, welcome. Good luck.
Well done.
And now for Dave.
You're my hero.
Dave!
How to follow from that? I'm glad I'm not the best man. Sorry.
Not for rule 4,300.
Thank you, Mike, for those compliments. Thank you, everyone, for coming today to see Becky and I get married. It really has been a wonderful day. I haven't got the Gucci little speech cards that Mike has. I've written it down, so I'll try and do it a bit slicker. Right, I did a bit of research online about groom speeches, and it says that I have to say a few thank yous, and I have to do a few sort of toasts. So if everyone makes sure they've got some booze and glasses, well, everyone's, to be fair, it's not been a problem today, is it? Everyone's there or thereabouts. Luckily for me, from my research, apparently the best man's speech is expected to be the star of the show. So,
Oh,
no pressure there, right? Remember, I'm following you. Right, anyway. I think from my research, what I've got to do is lots of thank yous. So before I start with the thank yous, I want to do one thank you to the staff here today who put a fantastic show on for us. And, we came here on Thursday for our sort of pre-wedding meeting, and we had Alice, who we met, and she told us that 2 weeks ago she got married in Romania. And to our really, really good sort of excitement today, we found out that she got married to this very good-looking gentleman. Right. The next part of my research. I'm shaking more than
It's like being
before.
anyone that thinks you're a police officer.
Right, my first bit of research says that I have to talk about the star of the show. Me, of course. No, I've got that wrong. Oh, sorry. It's you, of course. My wife. I'd like to officially welcome you to the Scarrott's family. You always have to spell your surname. Have it pronounced wrong. Spelled wrong. And spelled wrong. Yes. I want to say how beautiful you look today. I think everyone will agree she looks absolutely stunning. Almost like a bride model, which I think the photographer even said. Yeah, he agrees.
Cheers, Gary. Best friend ever. I'll pay you later.
I suppose everyone wants to know how I met Becky. I've known Becky for a long time, and I used to know her from when she used to work at the CPS, and I was in the police, and I'd create paperwork and prosecute criminals and have to take all my paperwork into the court, and I used to drop it off and I'd see this girl, blonde hair, smiling over the desks, and I'd go back and normally talk to Ed and say that I saw that fit girl from the CPS and for a long time I would just smile, and I never actually spoke to you, did I? Just used to smile and look a bit awkward and give you all my paperwork. But luckily for me, we had a party. It was New Year's Eve and we had a party, and I was DJing at that party. I was a bit of a DJ.
Well, that's what you call it.
Probably more than me.
Don't get up to day job.
Yeah, I was DJing and I was playing lots of good tracks, and Bex turned up, and she was lovely, and I did the same old, looking at her, thinking how lovely she was. I think I told Ed that the fit CPS girl was over there. I did. I might try and talk to her. I was DJing really well, playing figures, a few requests.
You did.
I wooed you. My then boyfriend wasn't quite so impressed. I won't go into too much more about that. To cut a long story short, my DJ was good enough that she was single 6 months later. And we eventually started to see each other, or go out, or court. Because my friend I do is just about staying away. Well, since then we've gone from strength to strength. We've gone on lots of holidays, as you can see from your table plans. Singapore, Thailand, Cancun, and Phuket as well, yes, in Thailand. And Prague, yeah. And as Mike alluded to, I decided that I wanted to propose in Cancun. Bex always said that her favourite place in the world was the beach in Cancun, so I thought, brilliant, we're going to Cancun, that's where I'll do it. Got permission from Mike and Jane. I think it was the first night I did it, all planned, dinner was booked at 8 o'clock, brilliant. Apart from Beck's timekeeping. 7:59, I'm still waiting and for her to blow dry her hair. And we go down to the beach, which it was more like the Sahara on a windy day. It was awful. But I got down on one knee and she said yes, and I was made the happiest man in the world. Mainly because she was so excited she couldn't eat her dinner in a Chinese restaurant, and I had to. But it's true, it was lovely. Well, I'm so happy now she's my wife. She's my best friend, beautiful, intelligent, generous, hardworking, and a brilliant judging character. I'd like everyone to propose a toast to my wife.
Mrs. Garrett.
Mrs. S. S-K-A-R-R-A-S. As Mike said earlier, unfortunately it's not possible to have everyone that we know and love here with us today. Well, I'm in the extremely rare and fortunate position to have both grandparents and all my family round, and I've not really felt any heartache, but unfortunately Bex isn't in the same boat. And I was lucky enough to meet Auntie Margaret, and I wasn't lucky enough to meet her nan, which I'm a bit gutted about. Your best friend Joe. So for everyone that I'm sure is here with us in spirit, I'd like to say to absent family and friends. To my mum and dad, thank you for raising me to be the man I am today. Thank you for all the support and the love you've given me over the years. I feel very lucky and privileged to be your son. Don't cry. It was either Grandad falling asleep or you cried. Grandad won it. Yeah. Thank you for putting up with me over the years and constantly stealing cans of Coke out of the fridge and tins of curry from your cupboard.
Curry.
And my beer. And your beer as well. bit of a fig for him. Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. Last night I showed you a token of my appreciation, but Mum, as a token of my appreciation, I have, and our appreciation, I have this bunch of flowers here. Bouquet of flowers.
That's one you made earlier.
Yeah. It's just for Christine.
Thank you very much. Oh. To Bex's parents. Thank you for all the love and support that you've given to Bex and for giving her such a great start in life and everything else. And thank you for making me feel so welcome into your family. It's really been the best 3.5 years. Thank you for putting up with me starting to steal the Diet Coke.
And there is canned voice in there.
And Stella. I've started stealing like Stella. Sorry, I didn't know that. You haven't got tins of curry, do you?
Yeah.
Chicken masala is not very good.
The ordering.
No, thank you very much. It's an honour to be here today and looking forward to the future. And last night I gave you a token of my thanks, but for you as well, I have this bouquet.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Thank you.
And I've just been reminded, the favours were also made by Bex and her mum. In case you're wondering, it's raspberry jam and sweet onion chutney. And I think the onion is the ones with the Hessian lids. So I hope you enjoy that. Well, that's the parents. So I'd like to propose a toast to the parents. I'd also like to thank Jill and Ben for their readings during the ceremony. That was rude. I'd also like to thank Jill for the wonderful wedding cake that you made us, including the special chocolate layer, which was one of the few things that I got my way of today.
The only thing.
It's the middle layer. Middle layer for everyone that likes chocolate. That was my way. For those of you thinking that Barnes is a strange name, it's not his name, he's Matthew Barnes, but if you call him Matthew, he's Barnesy.
Yeah, no, very much.
Or as my granddad calls him, Max. What can I say about Barnesy? I've known him since I was 11. Been my best friend since then. I've got so many stories I could stand there all night and bore you to tears and make you laugh.
Please don't.
Mainly at Barnes' expense. So, I want to thank you very much for organising my stag do in Berlin, which was very good, really, really good. We had lots of laughs. We had an interesting diet of German beer and kebabs, which took me till the Thursday to get over, and I'm not going to go into too much details about that. Berlin was good. We had a lot of circle of trust created.
And broken as well.
That's a private joke.
Yeah, so it's all right.
Talk to him over there about that later.
Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah.
But seriously, thank you very much for the stag do and everything you've done today. So, to the best man. I also want to thank my usher, Ed, over there. Probably the most reliable person I've ever met.
Yeah.
I've known Ed, we figured out like 10 years now, which is crazy really. But I actually trained Ed in the police.
So that explains it.
Yeah, I was his tutor constable in Boreham Wood, and I taught him how to avoid griefy jobs, the use of the L7 form, which is boxing it off.
Not to do with anything really.
How allowed to go to South Mims and get a £3 mega bucket. Everything you need to know. But to be honest, we've been such good friends now out of work that I don't even see you as a work friend. We've been DJing together in London, and we've been on holidays to Ibiza, we've been skiing, so I'm very lucky to have Barnsley and Ed, and well, obviously showed you my gratitude last night, so... Might get a blow up doll in his bed. You guys know what, so thank you very much. Thank you, both of you. I'm sorry. Okay. One last thing I'd like to say. Unfortunately, Boris can't be here today.
My baby.
No, he's probably at home on the sofa or scratching it. So one last toast to Boris the cat.
Boris. Too much.
That's the next bit, and Jess as well. Right, is everyone drunk yet? Are we getting there? Right, anyway, that's enough from me. I'm pretty bored of it. I just want, before I pass over to Barnsley, he does every now and then tell you a lie.
Foul play.
Don't believe everything he says. He lives in a bit of a parallel universe. And on that note, I hand you to the best man.
Fornication. Ladies and gentlemen. For an occasion like today, Dave said that I needed to look after myself, so... There we go. How'd you there, didn't I? How'd you go? Sorry, start again. Ladies and gentlemen, if anybody here today who's feeling nervous, apprehensive and queasy about the thought that lies ahead, it's probably because you've just married Dave. Speaking of Dave, he asked me to keep an eye on my weight for the wedding, so I duly obliged by keeping it out in front of me where I could see it. The benefit of that is that when we're at this level, actually makes his head look relatively small. So. For those of you that know me, there's a couple of you in the audience today, or in the group, you know that I love a good fact.
You do.
So on this day in 1580, Francis Drake completed his circumnavigation of the world on the Golden Hind. In 1969, the Beatles released Abbey Road album. Now, if I remember something to do with Abbey Road, it would have involved Bill, Dave and Chris. Oh. And I think we were watching the cricket a few years ago, and I think I may have been doing the snail crawl over Abbey Road, and Dave seemed to think it was a good idea as I was crawling to run up behind me and kick me in the arse. So, but that wasn't the highlight of it. I think it was when I carried Bill on my shoulders and accidentally smacked his head into a lamp. What I can say is I know where Dave gets his granite head from, though.
Solid.
And finally, did you know it was on September 26, 1988 that Hello magazine was first published? Dave and Bex hadn't tried to sell their wedding photos. In fact, on the contrary, I believe Dave's paid an enormous amount of money to stop the pictures from the stag weekend appearing in Cross-Dressers Monthly.
No.
So here I am, where do I start really? I first met Dave when we were in school, as he alluded to earlier, in 1996. We didn't really know each other particularly well right at the start, but very soon after become very close friends. It was probably about the time that Dave wasn't cool enough to play football with the cool kids, but with his enormous head, Nick's enormous nose, Chris's enormous eyebrows and my enormous belly, kind of fit into the... School was fairly uneventful, lots of laughs here and there. We didn't share many classes together, Dave being a bit of a swot and being really good at certain subjects, and I was always a bit of a joker. Although we did share German class together, and as Mike and David alluded to, we went to Berlin, and I can testify Dave did not get a good grade in German. Another event that I'd like to remember during school days, and I think Dave will probably remember this one, is that a friend of ours who isn't here today, but possibly coming later on, Tom Price, once on a very, and I cannot stress how cold this was, a cold day, from where I am to Chris here, punted a football extremely hard into the centre of my face. Needless to say, I thought my head exploded, I was over and I was in pain. Dave, on the other hand, was on the floor in fits of laughter. I was crying like a 2-year-old girl, and I just seem to remember that after then, everyone wanted us to have a fight for some reason. We come down to the courts, and it's in school where everybody wants to fight, fight, fight. We came together and we said, we're mates, and it was just a bit of an anticlimax, but it has kind of set the tone for the rest of our friendship over the years. Me getting hurt and Dave laughing, really. And that's usually when we're drunk as well, to be honest. Okay. It's not all been sunshine and rainbows throughout our friendship. We've had our fair share of disagreements, so a lot of best friends do. But they're usually quick and easy to get sorted out, usually over a few beers. But speaking of a difficult time, it would be appropriate just for a short time just to relay something that happened in my past a few years ago. My brother passed away a number of years ago, and I remember on that particular day that obviously it was a very hard day. I spoke to Dave on the phone, and he was there in a shot. He came around and picked me up, and he looked after me, took me bowling, and just made sure that I was looked after, and has done ever since. Basically, for a cheesy expression, has been my rock. And on behalf of me, my mum and dad as well, in that time, I'd just like to thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Anyway, move on from sort of stoppy stuff. Some for more memories from our journey through today. As mentioned earlier, and as you can see by the alcohol, there's been lots and lots of beer over our journey as friendships together. Our lager journey began, I'd say, we're about age 17. We used to go out into town and trying to get into Batchwood. I always could get in because I was devilishly handsome and massive with my big pork chop sideburns at the time, and Dave was always really afraid to go because he thought he got ID'd and wouldn't be able to get in. But Holy Stakes, one day he came along and actually got in, and I've never seen him really dance around like a jackrabbit, just in fits of like joy. And obviously you're going to see Dave dancing a bit, so yeah. So that set the tone for the best part of 3 or 4 years. Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights going out, going to Batchwood, going into town, and Dave usually staying on my sofa and spare rooms as well. And that was, I think, when we were known as the Oggy Boys at Batchwood as well, getting shout-outs. And there would always be a time when Dave would come around and we'd go to the odd car boot sale on a Sunday after having a night around yours or whatever. And he'd always wangle his way in to get into a Sunday roast at my mum and dad's house. Always come round. And my mum was never one to say no, but she was always confused by 2 things. One, that David would always bring garlic bread. Yeah. And the fact that you couldn't tell the difference between roast beef and roast lamb.
Even.
Not much has changed though, it isn't, I suppose. It was our first lads' holiday was away in 2004 to Zante. Me and Dave shared a room that week, and many stories from that week. I'm sure I'm not going to go down that idea, but if any of you have seen the In-Betweeners movie, you'll have an idea of kind of what happened that week as well. Probably not as extreme as that, but quite close. And then we went together to Ibiza in 2007, and obviously I know Dave and Ed have been many times, but that was the first time that any of us had been. And he never seemed to learn, so he just kept on going back for more punishment. I never understood it. And then it was to Thailand in 2011, which is another extremely cool holiday. I seem to remember hilariously overcooked sunburn incidents, and steep hills and unwilling mopeds, which I think Nick and Dave will hilariously remember. Basically, I tried to get up a really steep hill, moped conked out, I couldn't get up it. Decided to walk the moped up, and then I got to the top, he was laughing, you should have just revved it up. So, I was absolutely knackered and just about getting away for a beer. But again, going back to speaking about trips, we went to the wonderful city of Berlin. I've been 3 times, by the way.
Really?
Weekend of shooting guns, go-kart racing, travel around the city on a beer bike, drinking the best beer in the world, and as alluded to earlier, the finest kebabs as well. It was at this point I'd like to remind Dave of 2 points. 1, I'm a better shot than you, and 2, I had a quite faster qualifying time as well.
Oh!
So the splendid day we were all enjoying has only come about because of the love that Dave and Bex and their decision to show their commitment to each other through marriage. I'd have to say Bex has been a wonderful influence on Dave, and since the day they met he's been a happy little soul, and I wish them both all the future of happiness and that they deserve. and Bex, and I personally say that it's been a genuine pleasure getting to know you over these past years, and may many more years of friendship follow. Big thanks to the bridesmaids. Now I know what you're thinking, but you'd be wrong. It is apparently quite difficult to cry, look pretty and hold flowers all at the same time, especially for an hour or so. I'm sure you'll agree they performed the role so splendidly. And such a coveted position no doubt comes with the inherent rivalry, mostly about who gets the first dance with the best man. Sorry. Strike while the iron's hot.
Becky, you and me, outside.
Ladies, it's enough for you to go around.
He's got hose.
I see a sandwich situation going. Anyway.
I'd personally like to. I'd personally like to thank Bill and Christine, Mike and Jane for helping shape these wonderful two people and two of my closest friends into the people that they are today. So, a round of applause for Bill and lastly, I'll leave you with a story about the time leading up to sort of Dave and Bex getting together from obviously my perspective. As they kind of sort of alluded to, it was a bit of a difficult beginning to the relationship, and it sort of was it not going to happen. I know Dave came to me for advice and we talked about it at length on a number of occasions, and I used a very cheesy line from a film called The Girl Next Door. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a line in it which I felt was appropriate, and I said to Dave, "Is the juice worth the squeeze?" Ladies and gentlemen, the juice was clearly worth the squeeze. Dave and Bex.